Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. I am really excited to be back in the podcast studio. As some of you noticed or may have known from my last episode, I did take the summer off from podcasting just to kind of focus on the summer real estate market and focus on having a million kids running around at home. And so I am back. This is my first episode back all summer. So I'm really excited to be in here and doing this again and bringing really cool, exciting things to you. I am here today with Lena Furlong. You may recognize her because she has been on this podcast before. Previously, she has spoken to her incredible landscaping business, Soul Landscapes. But we are here today to talk about Vida Flow. And so with that, I'd like to introduce you to Lena.
Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm so honored to be on your very first podcast.
I know.
Thank you.
You're a good one to kick it off. I remember conversations with you just flow. So I'm very excited.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about Vida Flow, what it is, what started this movement for you, and kind of why you created it?
Okay. Yeah. Vida Flow is all about life flow. And flow, when we think about flow, it's when really things are flowing in your life and you can sort of stop trying to control or push things into certain areas and with so much force and really bringing our feminine energy forward. Mm-hmm. It is focused for women's health. The idea of Vida Flow currently is to get information out there to women of all ages and men too about the cycles that we go through with our hormone cycles, with a focus on our hormone cycle. And I am certified in women's neuropsychophysiology from a brand called Her Biorhythm that is launched by Dr. Kayla Osterhoff. She has been pioneering getting this information out for many years now. She's a women's health expert, and she breaks down the hormone cycle as we look at it in the pre-menopausal hormone cycle as we look at it in a 28-day period, and the rise and fall of estrogen and progesterone and how that has an effect on every single system inside of a female's body. And many of us, as we can all sort of relate to the feeling of feeling, pretty low energy, not understanding why we have brain fog certain times of the month, and really pushing ourselves to try to perform at this same level all month long. That's really a symptom of our society and the way that, things are built, right?
Yeah.
And when
Absolutely.
we look at our male counterparts, they have a 24-hour hormone cycle. So when we look at 9 to 5, day in, day out, hitting these deadlines, even down to eating and working out and all these lifestyle choices that social media is cramming down your throat. Get up every morning, do your cold plunge, do this, do that. It's like, that works for us for a few days out of the month.
Interesting.
Yeah. And what motivated me to start this was really my own struggles and my own journey in being an entrepreneur, being a mom, being, going from being married to being divorced and doing everything on my own. And then and also trying to continue to hold the empire together, if you will, holding the ship together, holding all of these different entities that I was involved in together, and struggling with sort of negative self-talk, like what's wrong? Why can't I just? And how come I can't make it? Or why don't I feel good every single day? I don't understand.
Right.
And what triggered me a few years ago was I hired a personal trainer, and I was really into building muscle and all of this stuff. And she had me working out at the gym 6 days a week, and she put me on this diet where I had to consume this amount of calories, and all of a sudden I was just gaining weight and gaining weight and gaining weight. And I said, I'm really unhappy. I don't understand. Why am I not going in this direction? And she was just like, consistency. And I said, that's a trigger word for me. I'm getting angry about the word consistency because I don't consistently wake up and feel okay every day. There's a couple times a month I'm feeling really great. And so I ended up letting her go after a huge investment with her, and then 25 pounds that I was not happy about later.
Absolutely. I'm going to say I would feel the same.
Yeah, and I even told her, I said, I could have gone the surgical route and taken care of this for the amount of, I was like,
that's really funny.
Yeah, I was like, hold on a second. And then I started doing research about just our body. What's going on in my body? How come, why is this happening? Is it okay for me to rest? Do I have to work out 6 days a week?
Right.
Is there a time where I should really just be resting? Should I be eating the same all month long?
Right.
And I stumbled upon Dr. Kayla Osterhoff, and everything she said resonated with me. And I saw her on an interview, and then she said her brand is Her Biorhythm, and I went down that route. I took a master class, and I started really focusing on myself as my first case study. That's where we start, right? We start locally. And I was able to take off in 12 months. I took off the 25 pounds that I had put on.
Wow.
Yep. And then I just continued down the road. I was hungry for more information. And I studied on myself for about 2 years before I decided to take the leap and get certified through her women's neuropsychophysiology, which opened up so much more information and just about our how the citric acid cycle it works for metabolizing food, where energy stores, what happens if learning that there was what was happening for me during working out 6 days a week was I didn't have the energy because I didn't have the estrogen and progesterone in that cycle of the month to support the energy that I needed to continue to perform at this level. So I was essentially draining my adrenals, spiking my cortisol.
Interesting. And that was causing that.
Yeah. And so then you just start, you when your cortisol levels are out of whack, it keeps the glucose in your blood.
Interesting.
And, cortisol is supposed to be for us to run away from the predator. But when the predator is your bills and your...
I was going to say everything every single day.
You're running late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. What happens is you're eating food and your body is not metabolizing it. So it's storing it to fat, but you're essentially starving.
Yeah.
So, there's all these things that happen. And so going down that journey, I've really been able to make lifestyle choices that align with what's happening inside my biology.
Interesting.
And I've created an intro to the female hormone cycle. That's where I am feeling the most comfortable and the most sort of well-versed in my learning right now. And I'm still taking more classes and learning many more things. Science is one of my, I love the scientific research behind everything, and I love data and all of that.
I love that.
I
remember that about you too, even with plants. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And what I do is I was teaching for a different brand called Everything Hand Tied. I was teaching an intro to the female hormone cycle to hairstylists about how they can optimize and organize their schedule based on where they are in their cycle.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And the whole purpose is that we gain understanding and understanding what's happening inside of our magic. This is magic, our biology. There's nothing wrong with our biology.
Right.
Where it is difficult for us is that we're sort of forced through our societal programming and what the needs are to adhere to an infrastructure that doesn't support our biology.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So and as we all know, there are times when none of us should be on the road or in public. It's better for the world if you just weren't there. But life doesn't give you that, right? All the time. You still have to make your bills and do all this stuff, right?
For sure.
So we're making changes. We've made procedural changes at Soul Landscapes. I work with Serena Johnson of Corporate Business Solutions and Corporate Business Development Solutions. She is our fractional HR person, and I work closely with her on creating systems for our female employees and our male employees to be able to communicate about what's going on for them and if they need some time, especially for the women, where it's not intrusive like, hey, are you on your moon cycle? Where it's more like a color-coded system, like here's where I am, or here's where, as we look down the next 4 weeks, this is where I feel like I could actually work a few longer hours. This is where I may need to scale back and work from home a little bit. So we're trying to make a change. We start locally, right?
Yep.
So we're starting here.
That's very cool. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And so then as I've been traversing through this and teaching and everything, all of a sudden I find myself in a state of perimenopause. All of a sudden, things are jumping.
I was going to say, and now everything's totally different, probably, that you knew about yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to be there. And this is happening, and this is happening 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks. And then and then it's not happening the next month. And so things are jumping around. And I've had the fortunate opportunity of being introduced to a friend of mine. She's a client and a friend, and her name is Jessica Long, and she has a brand called Belong Wellness. She actually has an awesome podcast.
Great.
Oh, my gosh.
Great.
So many resources and so much information. And she invited me she hosted a showing last year of the M Factor film.
Love that. Okay.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. And all of these women gathered. It was primarily female. And I believe this information is just priceless for men also. Yeah. Because if men can really understand what their partner is going through, men can make choices around how they're responding, how they're holding, how they're supporting. Maybe they just need to get the kids out of the house for 3 hours for you and give you some free time.
That sounds kind of magical.
Yeah, or now it's time to take you on the little getaway. This
I like
part
getaways.
Of the month.
This is all sounding great. Yeah.
Here's a time where you're going to have really high emotional intelligence. Now it's time to talk about the here's constructive criticism, or open up the conversation for what's working and what's not working. And so Jessica Long introduced me to the world of perimenopausal support that's out there. And she does coaching, and then she had brought in a panel with her naturopath, a few doctors, and I've heard on her podcast there are resources for everything from microdosing therapies all the way to the medical field, like what's available.
Yeah.
The movie, The M Factor, was written by a really cool woman named Tamsin Fadell, and she is a journalist, and I was sharing with you earlier.
Yes,
she talks about it in the movie, how she was reading the teleprompter and her brain just would not process the words.
So interesting.
And she went to the doctor, really freaked out. Do I have Alzheimer's? What's going on? And they said, well, you're going through menopause.
Wow.
And she's like, great, what's available? And it's like, not really much, right?
Yeah.
So she's one of our pioneers paving the way for this season of life and really raising the flag that there's not enough medical support. There's not enough scientific research about this. And women are sort of just like, oh, she's
absolutely
just pushed aside in these areas and, oh, whatever, just deal with it. And so I was inspired from Jessica Long to do this showing, especially under the brand of Vida Flow. And it's all about finding your life flow. And what we've decided to do is Soul Landscapes is supporting and sponsoring this showing as a 100% fundraiser for one of our favorite organizations, the Polly Klaas Foundation.
I love that so much. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you share when this is? Because it's coming right up.
Oh, it is next Thursday. It's a week from today.
Yep. Is that the 21st? I'm trying to remember.
It's on the 21st.
Yes, there we go.
Doors open. We're going to be at the Polly Klaas Theater on Western Avenue right here in town. And doors open at 5:30. We're going to have some refreshments and hors d'oeuvres from 5:30 to 6.
Great.
The movie starts right at 6, and it's about 53 minutes long. As soon as the movie's over, we'll take a quick bathroom break, and then we have Dr. Sarah Tier of Willow Blend, naturopath medicine here in town, as our expert on our panel. So she will be there to answer questions.
Great.
One of my personal biggest takeaways from the movie is that there's hope. It's not over. We can do this. And the whole purpose is to get awareness out here into our community, keep the conversation going, really normalize what we go through, and make it really more special.
Yeah.
Like, we're all of us women that have been adhering to this infrastructure that really hasn't supported us. We're queens. We are amazing.
For sure.
And we're raising kids. We're cleaning the house.
All the things. Yeah. All the things, really. So it's so true.
It's really incredible. And then tickets are $30. We were telling people our goal is to sell 100 tickets to raise money for the Polly Klaas Foundation. And if you can't make the movie or something, we're telling people just buy a ticket anyway. Consider
That's
buying
a great idea. Yeah.
Or you can come in and have some refreshments and hors d'oeuvres. All of the money, it's a no-host wine and beer and refreshments. That all goes right back into the foundation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and who should come to this event? Because I'm thinking, obviously, menopausal women, but also probably their partners, maybe their kids.
Anybody who feels like they could benefit from just getting more information. And this information is so important to get out there so we can really just give each other leeway and learn how to support each other.
Right.
And if we don't have the vocabulary, the knowledge, we don't have the understanding base, it's you just go, man, what's wrong with her? Oh, she's grumpy, or oh, and it's
Totally.
yeah.
Yep.
If we understand what's going on inside of our bodies, and again, going back to the pre-menopausal phase, we then are empowered with this knowledge to be able to communicate on our own behalf. Hey, right now I am feeling this way. Or if you hear this tone in my voice, this is where I am in my cycle. Don't take it personally.
Right.
I'm actually not mad at you. I just can't hear the tone of my voice because I don't have any estrogen or progesterone happening right now. So that's happening. You know what I mean?
That's adorable. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's funny. I do say that to my husband sometimes. I'm like, ignore the tone. It's just like, give me some grace for a moment.
Totally.
So funny. That's awesome. Yeah. So really, what are some of the more valuable resources where people can find? You mentioned the podcast. What was her name again? Jessica Long.
Uh-huh.
Where else could people get more information? Vida Flow, of course.
Yeah, Vida Flow. So what we're doing right now in this brand development, is to create a hub for these resources that are available. The whole deal is everyone is bio-individual, right? And everyone resonates with as many resources as there are out here. They're not one is for everyone. There's no one size fits all approach to any of it. So there's that piece, and we will be adding more to the website. That's my goal for now. I think maybe in 5 years I'll probably come out a little bit stronger on the education side of it. But for now, I'm just offering free information.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and support in that way. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. What are some common myths or misunderstandings about this stage of life?
I think I've heard, once you're 50, you go through menopause. Then your sex drive or your sex life is over.
Right.
You just, you lose your sort of vigor for life. And it's like, well, that's not actually necessarily true. And what we learned from many of the women that spoke in the M Factor film is how amazing life is in that season.
Yeah.
And getting through perimenopause and what to do once you are menopausal, what resources are available, and where the medical industry falls short. Like in certain instances, you can't get certain hormones unless you are choosing to do a gender change that's not covered under your insurance.
Yeah.
And so then where do you go for that? And
interesting.
I know for me personally, I have a naturopath, and it has been a game changer for me, and working with a naturopathic medicine in combination with what hormone therapies are available, when to use them, just a total
guide. It sounds like a full guide to follow. I think that's what I would need.
Yes. And it needs to really be tailored to who you are. And one of the biggest shortcomings I see in like the Kaiser Network, for example, is it's a flow chart.
Right.
White woman, 45, what's her pre-existing conditions? What's this? Follow the flow chart. Here you go.
Right.
It's not actually personalized medicine. This is what they say I can give you and can't give you.
Yeah.
And in the movie, there is, it sort of blows the whistle on how limited the education is for many medical professionals on menopause. They just don't talk about it. But when we look at the data, women are so much higher percentage rates of autoimmune diseases, Alzheimer's. It's the women that are really taking the brunt of this. And of course, I surmise it's because we haven't been able to support ourselves as we traverse through premenopause and then into these areas. We're still grinding and trying to perform at this level instead of understanding when to scale back, when to sort of let our natural resources come back, because they will. It's estrogen and progesterone. Yeah. And then post-menopause, well, there's no, once you go through menopause and you are menopausal until you are done.
Right. Until the end.
Until the end. Yeah. We no longer draw our energy from estrogen and progesterone. It comes from our adrenal glands. So there is still a flow to how we sort of monitor our cycle. And
that's interesting.
Yeah. We work with menopausal women with the moon phase,
I mean, really, for a lot of women, that could end up being a whole second half of their life, right? Like that could be a long time.
It really is. I mean, I'm hoping personally to biohack and live healthy and run when I'm 100. I can't run right now because of a hip injury, but I'll be
otherwise she'll be back in action.
Know, but be active and really hiking and
totally
and working in the garden until I'm 100. And so that's that's 50,
that's plausible.
55 years.
Exactly. There's a lot of life left there.
Yes.
Yeah. We just were visiting my nanny. She's 98. Yes. And she's still got her scooter and she's moving around and doing all the things. And then my husband's aunt, we just had time with in Washington, and she's 90 and she's the same way. Like, it doesn't matter that there's stairs, I'm bolting down them. Like,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of life left after all that. Yeah. For sure. It's a good reminder. How can women better support each other during these transitions?
Getting the information, getting an understanding, and feeling like you can set your ego aside and know that there's really nothing wrong with you, and being able to communicate about the struggle and saying, sister, this is what I'm going through, and giving each other more leeway. One of the biggest inspirations in my journey has been Jessica Long, because from an outside perspective, I've known her for many years, but I didn't see this inside of her until I really started following her brand. From the outside, her life looks perfect. She looks perfect. Everything. She looks like she's optimized. She's incredibly brilliant. She's an entrepreneur. She's got all this stuff going on. Husband, kids, great house, the whole thing. And she's online speaking out about the struggle bus. Is anyone else going through this? And I'm like, yes, thank you. Yep. So it's like the more we can, find get educated about what's happening inside of our bodies, and then we give ourselves the leeway, we can feel more brave in speaking about it, obviously time and a place, but it gives others permission to say, oh, okay, great. Now, okay, I'm not crazy. Right. This is really what's going on. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's the biggest piece of support. Yeah. And just joining together in community. Yeah. At Soul Landscapes, we talked about this last time, one of our core values is community. And so this piece of spreading the word for the community, and then also using this platform to give back to our community in the way of children, protecting children, is just, this is like full circle for us.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Looking ahead, what's your vision for Vida Flow?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece that I would love to do is get a sort of intro to the female hormone cycle and get it in front of the younger generation. I want to get it in front of the data shows that children are getting their period as early as 9 these days. And a lot of times, unfortunately, they're being put on birth control and given antidepressants. And it's like,
interesting.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I want to educate mothers and fathers and children. And that's really my biggest sort of the next 5 years, is getting that really dialed in to offer this education so that luckily with the internet, I mean, more and more young kids they're like, oh, I'm in my luteal phase. I'm like, oh, you know what that is? I didn't even know what that was until I was like in my 40s. This is great. Thank you, the internet.
I still don't know what it is.
I love it. I love it. It's the back half of your cycle.
Okay, there we go.
We're gonna do an intro powwow.
Apparently, I need to be on social media more.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah, the kids. So I'd love to do that, and then I also really want to focus on a men's group, because the way the intro to the female hormone cycle sort of pertains to men understanding is a little bit different. They don't need as much, or they're not going to understand or be able to relate to what's happening inside. But we can say this is happening inside of her. So here's some really great tools that you can use during this time to support her, and to also sort of know that this might be a mirror for you to look at yourself and where your units of self live and land. Are you looking for constant approval from her? Because she's not capable literally of giving it to you constantly. She's not even aware of it. And explaining it as what happens with the waxing and waning of estrogen and progesterone, and then just pre-menopausal, then what happens in peri, where, girl, what? It's been 3 weeks, now this is happening. It's been 2 months, I haven't had a cycle. Wait, now what's going on? It's like this whole jump around, and really just sort of how to navigate that with your partner. And then I think in the 10-year plan, I really would love to join Dr. Kayla Osterhoff-Moore, who is out there pioneering new systems in the corporate model, and she's working with governmental agencies to bring this sort of more, into human. It's a women's rights thing. It's an educational thing. Yeah, so that's
amazing.
Yeah, that's where we're going with that.
Can you remind me the name of her book again, too, and for the audience?
The Tamsin Fadell wrote a book called How to Menopause. She also wrote the movie, The M Factor, and it is a New York Times bestseller now. I mean, everyone's like sort of gobbling it up. I'm very proud and honored to be able to support this and just getting this information out. It says shredding the silence on menopause because it's like this generation is not going to suffer in silence. We're going to be like, hey, everybody, check it out. This is what our mothers and grandmothers and a lot of women went through. And then in the movie, they also talk about the differences between women of color and how much longer they go through menopausal symptoms. Yes, perimenopausal symptoms versus, say, Caucasian women who.
Really?
Yes. And so it's really interesting to highlight it and to be able to have this understanding. Yeah, to be able to support.
That's super helpful. Is there anything I might have missed that you would like listeners to know?
I don't think so. I think just, from a community standpoint, I think it would be really amazing to see as many people as we can at the showing and just to keep the conversation going. And there, you can join the email list on the website, which is vitaflow.podia.com. It's podia.com.
Great.
And if you also Google Vida Flow, the M Factor, Polly Klaas, those are keywords, that will pop up. And you can join the mailing list. I've had a huge response from people who aren't able to make it. Like I have people who are doing board meetings at night, or they're doing whatever, driving their kids to college or whatever, and they're like, "We want another one." So if you email me, if you can't make it, we will set up another showing and
that's great.
Figure out more ways to do this. And I'm really putting a lot of attention toward the Polly Klaas Foundation this year, and we assisted Soul Landscapes. Sponsored a lot of donation work when they were renovating the theater.
Which is so beautiful, that theater.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They moved mountains.
They did.
Yeah. I mean, Alicia Hansel and the Hansel Auto Group and Kevin Gelati and Team Gelati did so much. And I mean, there were so many other people involved that, and so at the time when we did the work, we were in a drought and the city wouldn't let us plant. So, yeah. So, my Petaluma Rotary Group, I'm on the Interact committee, and we work with the Petaluma High School kids.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so one of the projects I'm going to be proposing to the children is that we get out there and do some plant enhancement because we're no longer in a drought. The city said green light go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Great.
So let's make it
fantastic.
Beautiful. And
what a great project for the kids to be involved in, too.
Such a great project. And that space is actually really affordable to rent, and it's just going to such a great cause. Yeah. And I would love to see more community events occurring.
It's a great reminder. Thank you for putting that out there. Yeah. Wow, wonderful. Yeah. So the event is on Thursday, August 21st. I'll put the info in the show notes.
Great.
And I would love to, for anybody listening, to share this episode too before then with anyone. Invite your friends, make it happen.
That would be wonderful.
Definitely. Great. Thank you so much for coming back and for coming on. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you, Amy. It's been great being here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And thank you so much for listening.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.